So next we're going to be bringing on a wonderful kind of new friend of mine that I met in the comments on LinkedIn.
You have all kinds of new friends.
I do. The joy of COVID is it forced us to meet all kinds of new people in creative and interesting ways. So, hold on. I'm going to cough to death. Here we go. Rebecca, I can't say her name. I just said Rebecca. It's Rubaica. I can't say it today. Why? I said it the other day like 5 times.
Perfect. I'll answer to anything, Catherine. I'll answer to anything.
Oh my God. I literally said your name like 5 times the other day. I don't know why I can't say it right now.
Hi, Michaela. Catherine.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Absolutely.
So
how do you pronounce your name?
Rubaica.
Rubaica. It's the second way I said it. The second way I said it. Yeah.
I answer to Rebecca. I answer to Becky. Whatever.
Oh no! I insist upon saying people's names properly. Exactly. I insist upon it. So no, that's perfect. And I love it. We literally met on the comments in LinkedIn because we kept commenting on the same stuff, and it was like, well, we should obviously connect. Very clearly, we should be talking to each other.
Absolutely. And I loved your post, Catherine, that you had where you shared about yourself, and I was like. When you reached out, I said, "Oh my God, I am so thrilled that we're now connected."
Thank you so much. I think the one that she's referring to, there've been a couple like that. I think the one that she's referring to is the one where I talked about being a bipolar business owner, which it's my superpower. That's what I tell people. I actually don't mind it. So, so can you tell us first of all a little bit about you and what it is that you do?
Okay, so I am actually a physician and a psychotherapist. Mental health advocacy has been something I'm really passionate about, confronting stereotypes and biases and judgments. And so I decided to go to medical school. I thought that's how I'm going to fulfill my purpose. But, when I got out of medical school, I realized that wasn't my calling, and therapy is something that I love. And so I went on and got trained as a psychotherapist, and long story short, here I am, and
voila.
Well, how cool! I actually had no idea that you were into psychotherapy and that you're actually a counselor.
Yes.
What sorts of populations do you work with?
So currently I'm actually working as a career development practitioner, which is very interesting. I've been doing this for a few years now. And it's allowed me to work with job seekers and career transitioners. And I'm a career transitioner myself, so it's really exciting to work with people that are doing that. But I also worked in the States, and at that point I was working with addicts. I worked in a prison in Kansas for 4 years with convicts.
That's the one that fascinated me. I was like, what?
Yes. So mental health addictions, as I said, mental health advocacy is huge. I've always been very passionate about raising awareness. And I think now the discussion needs to be about connecting people with resources.
Yes. 100%.
We see people, standing up and saying, yes, I'm struggling with this. But then the question is, what do we do? How can I get
what do we do about it?
Support? Yeah.
100%. 100%. And as somebody who has mental illness, I don't like to use the word struggle because to me it puts a handicap.
Mm-hmm.
But I have mental illness and it's okay. And I always tell people it's no different. In fact, I've used this analogy with Michaela in our discussions before. It's no different than your pinky. Okay, guys, I want to put that on out there. We're going to destigmatize this. Mental illness does not define you. I am not bipolar disorder.
It's not a label.
It's not a label. If you don't go to somebody and go, you have a pinky, that's who you are. No, this is just a part of you. This is just a part of the whole. This is not
the whole. There you go.
Does not make up. This is a piece of the whole. So we're going to get that right on out of the way. This is not going to define you. But yes, the resources and making sure that you have access to them. Guys, there are plenty that you can do, whatever your comfort zone is. In fact, Michaela and I just had a conversation about this, that different people's comfort zones are different things, all different things. So what works for one will not work for the other. And round and round we go. So from our 2 mental health professionals, here we go. I'm going to ask you a few questions and I want to give you each a chance to answer them because I'm very excited about it. So we're going to start with you, Rubaica. I'm sorry, I'm going to cough myself to death, but allergies. Michaela and I are both struggling. She keeps throwing
Yeah.
herself into mute, guys, to like sneeze and stuff. I'm over here coughing to death. It's not good.
It's the season.
It is. I just wanted to let everybody know it's not COVID. Okay. Do not
No.
worry. We are always like this time of year. Do not worry about it. All right. So we're going to do some kind of roundtable here. So let's start with when somebody is starting to feel the symptoms of something, right? They're starting to realize maybe something's going on that's a little bit more than just your regular stress.
Mhm.
What would you recommend, each of you, as the next step or a great way to start the process of figuring out what's going on?
So I think for me, and I think I've heard other guests say this on the show as well, Catherine, Michaela, it's that having a self-awareness, right?
Right.
Really getting in tune with your thoughts, with your feelings. Using one of the things that I always talk about with people is we need to be more proactive with our
Right.
mental health rather than being reactive. We wait until things get really bad and then we want to, support, right? We're all
It's
guilty.
so
I'm
true.
guilty of doing that. I'm guilty of doing that as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
It's like, well, now I'm having a mental breakdown, so now I'm going to do something about it. Don't
Lots
wait.
of time.
Don't
Yeah.
wait. Yes, we all know. Michaela and I have both done that. We've both been like, well, now I've just fallen apart.
Yeah,
Crud.
so now what? Sorry, continue,
Now what?
Rubaica.
Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. And maybe there might be some things that we might be able to put into place by ourselves to take care of whatever is going on with stress, maybe thinking about what is causing the stress, right? Going to the root cause. Maybe some strategies we're incorporating, right? Which falls in with self-care, taking care of our physical, our mental, our spiritual needs. But also realizing that this is like any kind of a physical symptom that you'd have, that it is okay to talk to people about it. If I got to go and see a professional, that is okay. This is the one thing I tell people. We don't feel bad about going to the doctor saying I got the flu. Why do we shy away from talking to professionals or people about the fact that, I'm struggling with stress. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed right now. I'm feeling, I'm not quite feeling myself. Why do we have to hide that?
Right. And even saying my moods are erratic or things like that. And a lot of people don't realize too that a lot of mental illnesses have a physical, in fact, basically all of them have a physical component. There are hormones that are askew. There are parts of the brain that are not functioning properly. It is still a physical ailment.
Yes.
Well, we're holistic beings. I mean, the mind is not separate from the body. Emotions are not separate from the mind or body. We feel all of these things together, so it makes sense that they're interconnected.
Yes.
Right. 100%.
I think also like the self-acknowledgement, I think self-compassion, self-love. That was another thing I wanted to bring up is this is February, it's Valentine's Day, and we're all going up and buying flowers and chocolates. How about doing something nice for yourself, right? I mean,
it's funny. My husband and I do not celebrate Valentine's Day. We don't. But we, but you're right.
For yourself.
But yeah, that's what I was going to say. But celebrate. And actually the reason is, and my husband's always thanked my father for this. My dad always made it such a big daddy-daughter day that's what stuck in my head. So, so it has a different connotation for me, but still do things for yourself. And like I celebrate my birthday every year. I do something for me.
Exactly.
Every time.
Exactly.
And I take time to do those things to celebrate the wins along the way as well. So is that kind of what you're talking about? Just taking that little time.
Yes. Well, this sort of goes into what I was going to say for my roundtable response, if you don't mind me jumping in real quick.
Sure.
Well, just so you know, Rubaica, I'm very much on the experiential side of counseling. So I'm very much Gestalt, if you know anything about those theories.
I love that. Empty chair.
Oh yes, that's what everyone knows about Gestalt. Yes, but very much in line with the empty chair. What I tend to do is invite clients, and what I do for myself is to just sit down with yourself, invite yourself up for some tea. Like, really, really say what's going on. Like you start having those symptoms, and the gut reaction as a human being is an animal. Let's just say as a human animal is to want to escape discomfort, is to want to escape pain. Of course it is. That's how we are programmed. But to just sort of relax into that process, hold space for it, as Anna mentioned, and just allow it and say, okay, I'm not dying. This is here right now. what's going on? So that's what I would suggest.
That's a great way to start. That's a great way to start the process. So let's say you've started it, you started that conversation with yourself, then you go to the mental health professional, because you're right. You have to take that step sometimes and go to basically a doctor, right? It's no different. Yeah. Just go in and have that kind of mental checkup. So let's say you've done that. Now you need to put a process in place, like we talked about with Anna, put that process in place of every single day. And Scott talked about this too at the beginning of the show. Have a process every single day, have things in place to change behaviors, to change all that, to create better, healthier habits. So let's talk about what that looks like and actually putting that into action. Let's start with Michaela on this one.
Oh, okay. Well, the first thing that popped into my mind is that, I just mentioned escaping and wanting to escape pain. And one thing that I work with clients a lot on actually is not trying to change it, is not trying to change habits, but to recognize them, to notice them, and to what I say is play with options. Play with options for other ways they can do for themselves, even with it's sort of like holding space. It's holding space for the thing that you maybe want to change eventually, the thing that might be creating some issues, and then also bringing in some other options and saying, okay, so this is here. This is my gut reaction. Maybe I want to drink alcohol. Maybe that's what I want to do. And there's some other options I could play with too. Like maybe I'll go on a walk with my dog. Maybe I'll see, am I hungry? Am I tired? Am I, I think there's like with the HALT process, I think there's like 4 different ones. So you're familiar working with addiction. I'm sure you're familiar with HALT.
Hungry, angry, lonely, tired.
That's what it is. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. So yeah, just you playing with options is one of the things I would suggest to work into your schedule, and just seeing how else might I be able to respond to the needs that have come up that I sat down and spoke with and said, what's going on? But yeah, that I'm going to wrap up there.
Okay, very good. What about you, Rubaica? What do you think?
I think for me, again, that self-care, I think a lot of people take it as a luxury. It's not a luxury. Yes. It should be made a priority. And everything that you're doing, as I said, for your physical, mental, and spiritual needs. And because today's topic is about the workplace, a couple of things, and I think you alluded to it, Catherine, when you talk about taking mental health days. And not taking mental health days when you're kind of at the end of your rope, but just taking them to relax, to rejuvenate, to reset. Yes. And keeping those gains going. The other thing also is a lot of companies, they offer benefits, and a lot of people don't know their benefits. Go get a massage, go to the chiropractor, take advantage of all of things. Yeah, do something nice for yourself. I also think it's really important when you're thinking about emotional self-care, practicing gratitude. I'm huge with practicing gratitude and being grateful for what you have today. Started out in the morning, maybe before you go to bed at night, and affirmations is another thing. Yes. I think that keeps me going, right? One of my favorite ones is I can and I will, and I am worthy, and I am valued, right? And I can do this. And
right, 100%. Yeah. And that tenacity is extremely important. That's extremely important to hold on to that and to keep that boldness. And even when you're feeling insecure, to go, no, I am this way and I can get through this, even though this is scary or this is, not the best situation. I can get through this. So I want to ask, the final question is, so we're talking about the workplace and how to apply it. So a lot of times in the workplace, people feel the need to keep everything bottled up because it's work and it is separate from personal. I do want to read it. It is separate from personal. Okay. Don't bring all your drama in, but if you're having a real problem, okay, a real mental stress, a real trauma, anything like that, what are the ways that you would recommend approaching management, HR, whoever, to ask for help? And how would you ask people to go about that? And Rubaica, we'll start with you on that one. So and we got to keep it quick, guys, because we only have 3 more minutes. So.
Okay. So one one of the things is a lot of workplaces have the employee assistance program. So that is a great way, and it's anonymous. HR doesn't even know if you're calling in to that service. So definitely taking advantage of that. The other thing also, I think, Catherine, you alluded to it, is as managers, and I've had that happen in the workplace for myself, is like my manager notices I'm overwhelmed and they'll pull me aside and they'll have a chat, and maybe you need to kind of take a day off or a couple of days off, and I think even with colleagues, checking in with each other, I think that is so, so crucial. And I think that even in this virtual space that we are in, you can check in on your colleagues. At my workplace, we tend to have meetings 3 days of this 5-day week. In the morning, we meet for about 20 minutes and we do like meditations or we do motivational meetings. And so we're so
That's really cool.
Build those relationships where even if we're struggling with something, we have enough of trust that we can open ourselves up to our colleagues. So it's really about the workplace culture as well and connecting.
Absolutely, 100%. And I just want to throw a reminder out there. You are still not entitled to somebody's trauma. Ask them how they're doing. Ask if you can help. Do not push for details, please. And then Michaela, real quick, what's your response to that one?
Actually, you hit the nail on the head, Rubaica. I don't have anything else to really add to that. Though I did want to make real quick a comment on what you said about gratitude, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah.
Because I think it's very important, because you were talking about showing gratitude for the things that you experience. I entirely agree. And what I wanted to tack onto that just real quick is also showing gratitude for anxiety, showing gratitude for sadness, and showing gratitude for anger, the things that maybe
it's all part of the process.
Exactly. And they're all doing something for you. Anger usually comes out to defend us. Anxiety comes out to protect us. And numbness comes out to protect us from our own emotional pain. So I just wanted to throw that out there as
100%. And I want to add real quick to that last roundtable, and that's 100% right, Michaela. And remembering that all of these things are just part of your natural responses, I think, is really important. It's nothing to be embarrassed about or ashamed about. It's all part of our nature, and everybody has these feelings and emotions. And I want to throw out there too, if you want to approach your manager and you feel like you need help, the best thing to do is just call them aside and say, I just wanted to let you know I'm going through some things personally. So if you see something going on, please come and talk to me about it. Let's put a plan in place. Have a suggestion and just say, if you notice my work performance slipping or anything, I don't want that to happen. Please come to me and let's put a plan in place. And I am being mindful of it, and just address the elephant in the room and let them know what's going on. You'll be really surprised how compassionate most managers will be in that situation. Right.
Absolutely.
So on that note, I want to thank you, Rubaica, for coming on. We flew through your segment. I do not feel like it's been 20 minutes, but it has. And we did drop your link in the comments prior to the show. So guys, if you want to connect with her, please connect with her on LinkedIn. Trust me, you will benefit from that. She is absolutely wonderful, one of a kind. Any final words for us that you want to throw out there to the audience?
I think one of the things that I've been kind of following since last year is being on this journey of authenticity. So one thing that I can definitely recommend to everybody is start your own journey of authenticity. Be as authentic as you are, because everything we've been talking about, creating those relationships, having the support that you need, that can only happen when we're authentic and we're honest with ourselves.
Right. And honesty with yourself is paramount. So thank you again, Rubaica. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, guys.
So nice to meet you.
I love her. She's so great. And she tied in perfectly to our final segment.